Okay, in this video we're going to go through 8.2. Now there's only one page of notes here, but it's a very important page. So we're going to discuss one shape, and that's a parallelogram. Okay, so a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with, we'll change color. Okay, with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Okay, so both pairs are parallel. They're also parallel and congruent. Okay, so here's your first theorem. So if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite sides are congruent. Okay, so a parallelogram always has parallel sides, and know that the opposite sides will always be congruent as well. So that's the two things that you can always take to the bank about parallelograms. Okay, parallelograms and opposite angles. This is Theorem 8.8. This is very important to know also. Notice the markings on the angles that are opposite one another. Those markings should tell you that you have equal angles. So if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite angles are congruent every single time. Okay, another really important thing. Parallelogram and consecutive angles. Consecutive angles mean that they follow one another. So, for example, Q and R are consecutive angles. R and S are consecutive. S and P are consecutive. And P and Q are consecutive. If a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its consecutive angles are supplementary. Supplementary. Okay, so that means that what? What does that mean? If something is supplementary, they have to sum to 180. So that means that x plus y equals 180. Consecutive angles. Okay, these were opposite angles. Opposite are not consecutive. This Theorem 8.9 is about consecutive angles. Okay, we've got one more thing to talk about. Let's do that on the next page of my video. And that is right here. So a parallelogram and its diagonals. If a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its diagonals bisect each other. Okay, so these diagonals, you can tell that they're bisected because when they cross, they formed equal sides. Now, note that diagonals do not need to be congruent. Okay? They're not congruent. That's not a requirement. All that is required is that when they cut each other, they cut into equal segments. Okay? So this example is going to help us think about some things here. Use properties of parallelograms and find x and y. Okay, so look, 65 and y are opposite angles. Opposite angles are congruent, so y will equal 65. Okay, DC right here is 12, and AB is right here. If that's a parallelogram, then those, and I know it is because I see all the parallel sides, then those two sides have to be congruent. So 12 will equal x plus 4. So therefore, x will equal 8. Okay? So the next page is the homework, and you'll be able to apply some of these theorems to your work.